Hi everybody, Bruce at Clayhorse Music in Boise. In this video we're going to talk about improvising over the chords of Stormy Monday. I did a previous video called Guitar Workshop Number 1 where we talked about taking the blues scale or the pentatonic scale with the added blues note and finding a couple more notes that we could add to that scale that would match the song that we were playing. In that case, The Thrill Is Gone. It had some interesting variations off the normal chord progression, give us just enough wiggle room to put some interesting variations in the lead. And Stormy Monday, with all of its modulation of the chords and whatnot, also gives us some nice opportunities to play some very interesting lead parts. So in this video, what I'm going to do is show you some ideas that you can play with of how to take the normal straight up pentatonic / blues scale and add a few notes to it to make it really interesting, and you can have a lot of fun with this. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of the theory behind the lead part, or the major scale or the pentatonic scale that we're going to be working with. We're playing Stormy Monday in the key of G, and we know that when we have a major or a minor key, that we can play a minor pentatonic scale over that chord progression. So in this case, if we're in G, our pentatonic looks like this in the first position here, or to come down from the top. What we're going to do is we're going to add two notes that we're going to use a lot, and we're going to add one note that we use maybe just once or twice. The two notes that we use a lot are going to be a second and a sixth. So the second is going to be, if we come down from the normal pentatonic like this, it's going to be right there, and the sixth is going to be right there, and they repeat down here. The third is going to be where normally the pentatonic would, now we have to use that very carefully, but when it works pretty well. And the other thing is that a normal seventh or a major seventh, or the seventh that's in that seventh, usually works pretty well to slide into a note. There's a grace note or whatnot. So every once in a while we're going to use that note as well, but that's more like a grace note. Okay, so our scale is going to be much more exotic sounding, a little bit more interesting, much more in the nature of what we're trying to express in terms of the lead of the song. So let me play a little lead part that is just an improvisation that I've made up just to show you the use of using all of these notes that I just talked about. Okay, so let's see what that sounds like. so I've kind of exaggerated that just a little bit to give you an idea of how you can change the sound of a lead part by adding a couple of extra notes. In this case, a second to sixth and a major third. Sometimes we can also drop in a major seventh. You know, the pentatonic scale has a dominant seventh, and you can go to a sharp of that and use that as a grace note sometimes. That's helpful. Now, when you're playing this lead part, I'd like to show you something that you might want to experiment with. You know, the pentatonic scale has positions. The first position is starting at the root note, like the G. First position is here, and then we have the second position there, and then we have a third position, which is what I would like for you to experiment with is something really neat. If you go into the second position, then take that and slide it up 2 frets into what would normally be the third position. But you're introducing now the sixth and the second into this by playing it almost the same as you did in the second position. So if you go in the second position, that's strictly pentatonic. But if you slide that same thing up and play it into the third position, now you've introduced those new notes. So just to give you an idea of what that sounds like, second position, now I'm going to slide it up and then you heard me go. That's actually part of the pentatonic scale. What happens a lot of times when you start introducing these new notes or expanding your scale so that you're getting into more of the modal type of playing, a lot of times what happens is your ear will pick up the new notes that you've introduced as being really more relevant to the lead part than the pentatonic scale. So when you go up and you hit, you might hit a note that's in the pentatonic scale. That note will sound like it's something new. So it's just the way your ear works. Once you start, and to me that means that you're really doing something right. You're really starting to come up with a lead part that really matches the chords, and it really matches the mood of the song. So I just want to introduce to you the idea of playing something outside of just the same old pentatonic blues scale. Try to get some of these extra notes in there, and you will find when you're playing in a major key that what I just showed you, you can apply very, very many times. But the only difference is you have to be a little careful about when you use those notes. But you will develop your ear so that you go, oh, coming up is a spot where I really need to use that sixth, or the second. Now you won't think of it as the sixth or the second. You'll think, I need that note. We're going something like that. And once you've played it a couple times, you'll kind of yearn to hear that more expressive kind of playing. So I hope I've kind of sold you on this idea of expanding the pentatonic blues scale a little bit, because I think it gets just beat to death. Even the really good players, maybe it was fine in the 60s and 70s and all that, but I think we need a little bit more imagination and creativity. It's all been done before. There's only one B.B. King, so don't try to play like B.B. King, because, B.B. King is B.B. King, and his style now would be considered kind of, I don't know how to put it, I don't want to be derogatory, but, when he plays it, it's great. When I hear somebody else play it, it's not so great. So try to be a little bit more expressive and play a little bit more modally when you play these songs. And I think that you'll get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. It's like solving a puzzle, and you can go after each new lead part with a new freshness and make it unique to yourself and make it unique to that song. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.